morning.
Okay.
How are you?
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Venezuela. Good morning, Latin America, Chile, all these beautiful countries. I'm doing well. I'm actually right now in one of the countries that is part of your alliance. I'm in Iberian Peninsula, to be precise, in beautiful country of Spain. I'm on my holidays in Alcocebre. This is Comunidad Valenciana, so this is by the Mediterranean Sea. I'm enjoying Iberian culture, Iberian food, drinks, everything, and most importantly, sun, beach, all these beautiful things that the weather offers here. And I want to apologize for the connection issues. Apparently, this hotel doesn't have very good network. So I changed to my cellular network from my phone, and I hope it will be a bit more reliable. So Sarah, it's wonderful to be here, basically opening the Alianza Libertaria meeting. Please tell me if I should start my short speech now, or you go before me.
Okay, let's talk a bit before you start your speech. First of all, I want to say that I love your cap. It's beautiful. It's a very beautiful cap.
It's a gift from Yomar, It's my favorite cap now. I go around here in Spain in this cap. It's practical, and most importantly, it conveys important message of freedom. And freedom is necessary, especially in Venezuela. So I love this cap too.
Yes, it's very beautiful. I have a shirt very similar to that cap. Okay, Jacek. To start, I would like you to tell us a little bit about you and about Liberty International. What can you tell about?
Okay, wonderful, Sarah. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me to give this short speech, short address for the new alliance, the Libertarian Alliance of Ibero-America. I am president of Liberty International, and this is something I do for 2 years now. It's very exciting. I love this job, if we can call it a job. But I can tell you a bit about me. I actually come from Poland, as it was indicated in the graphic promoting my appearance. Poland is a country in Central Eastern Europe. Poland is a country that suffered from communism, actually, or these guys call it real socialism, for 45 years. So I don't remember those days.
They call it that everywhere.
They call it the real socialismo everywhere, right? They used to say in Poland, we wish we introduce communism one day, but we are on the way there. We haven't yet reached the perfection. So, but we call it basically communism. That the system we had in Poland. I don't remember those days. My parents remember them very well. Obviously, my grandparents too. This was between 1945 and 1989. So yes, I was born under that regime, but I was 4-year-old when it collapsed. I'm glad to grow and to live in a free country. It's not perfect, but it's a country that is doing a large transformation, and including economic transformation from real socialism, from central planning into relatively free economy. It's a fascinating process. It's an interesting country, and it is a country where freedom movement is growing. It's not yet as strong to rule the country. Very different guys are ruling, unfortunately, but it is growing and it is getting more popular. So I see some similarities with Latin America, actually. Unfortunately, not with the weather. This is what I wish, and it cannot happen, I'm afraid. But with attitude toward freedom, attitude toward transformation, stuff like that, yes. So I am in this freedom movement since I was 18. So I just turned 18. So I could say half of my life I'm in the freedom movement. I was in the youth group before, Coliber, Conservative Libertarian Youth Group. I was in a Globalization Institute think tank when I was in my early 20s. And actually, since 2012, which is, wow, 9 years already, I'm having my own organization in Poland, which is named Freedom and Entrepreneurship Foundation. And the name tells you what we promote, but we are in education business. So this is not really a public policy think tank. We have them in Poland too, but this is more about education, spreading the ideas, forming young leaders. Multiple different projects I started, including Polish-American Leadership Academy, including projects that are more in the movie sphere. We made some movies, for example, movie about Ludwig von Mises, the great Austrian economist. It's on YouTube. You can click Human Action movie. We made a movie about Krakow School of Economics. We made a TV series, Freedom Under Fire, and a number of other projects. So I'm constantly doing projects promoting liberty, and I love it. It's a mixture of passion and work. And people often say, do what you love, but in some cases it's empty slogan, but not. It doesn't need to be. I mean, that's a probably topic of another conversation, but to merge what you love, what you're passionate about with your career, it's actually possible, even if there are no jobs waiting for you. You need to create your jobs. But that was more or less my case. I need to create my job. It didn't exist. Nobody invited me anywhere. So this was 9 years ago. We started the foundation. We did multiple projects. 2018, so we go forward a bit, few years more. We held the Liberty International World Conference in Krakow, the beautiful city in southern Poland. We say the city of kings. We were the hosting organization, and this was not my first LIWC. I actually went to Prague in my early 20s in 2006, and I came to a few conferences, and in 18, I was the host. And I made my ties stronger with Liberty International. I think they were quite happy about how the conference turned out. And in 2019, they invited me to join the board and eventually to become a president. And this is a fantastic position. It's a hard work too. It's an organization that is on the market of ideas since 1969. So we celebrated 50th birthday 2 years ago when I joined, actually. We have a very good reputation, very good history, but the organization is pretty small. However, it has very global, very international, like the name says, impact. And we are also in the business of freedom education. We do very different projects to promote these ideas. And I can name few. One is the World Conference, that is annual event. And it's just a fantastic event. It's a gathering of freedom-loving people from all over the world, different professions, students, intellectuals, business leaders, sometimes politicians, but very special ones, there are not many of them, who can enter our conference, and different ages, different groups, and you basically find people from all over the world, and a special family atmosphere grows. So we do these conferences since 1982, and only with few years exceptions, like last year with COVID, it was impossible. We organized 35 of them. And last one was, guess where? In Latin America, in the country of Colombia, in Medellin. And this is where I got this cap. I met the guys from Movimiento Libertario Venezuela. Fantastic people, and other actually Venezuelan groups, Vente Venezuela and SFL, Students for Liberty Venezuela. We made our ties, we became friends. They came on scholarships. They had fantastic stories. They crossed border illegally, because that's the only way you can do this. They are very brave people, very, very brave people, like many libertarians in Latin America. So at the conference, I made these new connections with Venezuelans, with Colombians, obviously, with Ecuadorians, and people from other countries. This is how networking works. And this is also special about what you try to form as Alianza Libertaria, because I guess you will have meetings, you will have workshops, you will have other stuff. So we have other projects. I will only tell you about one or two. Project Arizona is actually very important to me. It's a leadership program for young libertarians who are already active in spreading freedom, but they want to climb higher. They want to learn better techniques, make more contacts, make more networks, and learn how to spread ideas of freedom more effectively. And we invite people from all over the world to Phoenix, Arizona, since 2017. So this is already this is going to be the 6th time. Last year was just different, was virtual because of COVID. But in 2022, I'm meeting again, hopefully 8 leaders from all over the world. And they intern in Arizona in various think tanks. They have classes at Arizona State, many networking meetings, and they just, in 3 months, become stronger leaders for freedom. And this is very little advertisements. If you guys are either processing US visa, B1, B2 visa, or you come from visa waiver country, in terms of Ibero-America, it's just 2 countries, Spain, Portugal, or Chile. Chile is the only one in Latin America that is visa waiver. If you guys are either having visas or you come from these 3 countries that are visa waiver, that don't need visa, go to projectarizona.us and make sure to apply. We only have few days left for applications. It's an amazing project and it's very subsidized with private money. It's worth your time. So I think I talked too much already. Sarah, I give the mic back to you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, well, it's very interesting, and I think what you do, that is an international work, is very important because one thing that we can relate, I think, is that we libertarians, we are individualistic people. So we need to work like team working, and this is like the opportunity to meet people from all over the world that share the same values, the same principles. And well, I think with that we can start the topics that gather us. You are going to talk about the importance of this conference and also about the importance of libertarianism in this region in Latin America. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So, Sarah, I think what is happening in Latin America these days is very exciting. This is a good word, exciting. The word exciting basically is a mixture of challenge, but hope as well, and big opportunity. And currently, if you look at the world affairs more globally outside of Latin America, there's not many good news. You see very much governments growing with their powers, with regulations, with restrictions. This is a good word. In various ways, especially this current COVID crisis, which is a horrible disease, and I don't try to make it irrelevant. Not at all. I think it's horrible disease that needs to be fight. Private companies do it very well. I remind that the vaccinations were developed in private clinics, not in government clinics, and distributed by private companies. But unfortunately, this is also a fertile soil for government to grow and beyond any reasonable restrictions. So what we observe is that different governments around the world, use this opportunity of the COVID pandemics to grow and to grab more power. It's a power grab situation. If you look at the especially so-called Western world, that is Western Europe, Canada, United States, Australia, New Zealand, all of these places, the government is spending more money, going more into debt, printing more money, that is also restricting individual liberties, everything in the name of safety. And I don't want to diminish safety. Safety is important, but safety means nothing without individual liberty. And safety is also a good that can be chosen by free individuals. But the collectivist approach that puts safety on the altar of freedom is a one-way road. One-way road that will strip us of essential liberties. I'm talking here about private property. I'm talking here about the wealth we can keep, the fruits of labor we can keep. I'm talking here about essential liberties like freedom to move from place one to place two, freedom to travel, all these important things. And it's actually worse and worse in many places. And don't get me wrong, I know Latin America is not perfect, far from. In many countries in your continent, in the South America continent, Central America, but also in Portugal and Spain, it's a little bit different story, but still, similar things happen. Actually, in some cases, could be seen as worse. In many South American countries, when you wave the communist flag with hammer and sickle, you still can get into power. That's probably not that easy in Western Europe or United States, fortunately. But still, if I'm looking at the positive news from the world, there are some of them. I mentioned that the vaccines and the medications are developed by private companies, but also even though governments are getting bigger and bigger, there is still more and more wealth produced. There are still great fruits of global voluntary cooperation happening. And this is not thanks to government. This is despite of the governments. But when I look at Latin America, essentially, maybe not so much Spain and Portugal, but I look at Latin America, that is the countries that speak basically Spanish, Portuguese, and French in Central and South America, right? That's the proper definition of Latin America. Then I see some places of big hope. Medellin and the Antioquia region in Colombia is one of them. I discovered it, I experienced it myself. It's actually becoming strong hub for business. And I'm talking about international business. I'm talking about not big business, actually, not corporate welfare, but small business people coming from all over, many of them from US, becoming so-called digital nomads, starting their startup companies, very entrepreneurial, meeting in special hubs, working in the workspaces, and the environment for these guys is becoming better and better. Special visas are being designed for this, and the city is growing like crazy, like literally. Imagine Medellin 25 years ago. It was one of the most dangerous cities in the world. I don't say that this is a super safe city right now. If you take maybe European standard, it is still not. But if you take Colombian standards, Latin American standards, it is actually becoming very safe and very prosperous. The Poblado district, wow, this looks like Miami almost. So you see the good change in Colombia. You take other countries, Honduras, they made changes to their constitution allowing for free market zones. I know they are growing on different islands. One of them is Roatan Island, where the Prospera project of Zeda is being grown. They aim to build something like a new Singapore or new Hong Kong in Honduras. And they have a constitutional provisions for lower taxes, different legal code, more similar to Commonwealth, much better protection of private property, and other perks that are guarantees of success. There's another island near Roatan, I think it's called Gujava or something like that, that grows similar project. It's just the entry level is lower. So for Roatan will be for rather richer people for invest. The other project for lower income. But this is fantastic. Where do we find places like this in Western world? We do not. We see a shrinkage. And here in Honduras, that actually experienced everything except capitalism and freedom, they try first time capitalism and freedom. At the beginning, not everywhere in the special zones, but believe me, if the zone becomes successful, it will grow like crazy. It will be a domino effect, and I'm sure about this. Okay, there is also a danger that someone can want to close it, but it will be not so easy. They have a 50-year constitutional provision. You go to Brazil. Brazil is on the verge of libertarian, I would say. There is a growing sentiment for libertarian ideas, and that's not only in politics. Politics is not that important. I don't say politics is not important, but there is a lot of things that are more important than politics. But in politics, you have Novo Party, Novo 30 Party, with parliamentarians such as my friend Marcel Van Hatten, who spoke in Medellin, trying to push the agenda. But more importantly, they have the governor of the state Minas Gerais, Mr. Zema, and they try also introduce free market zones with low taxes, low regulation to bring more business. This is something not really happening much in Europe. This is not happening in the United States. This is not happening so much in Canada or Australia. It's happening in Brazil. And other places. You go to Foro Liberdade. Sorry for my bad accent, maybe. But Foro Liberdade in Brazil, it gathers like thousands of people who are liberals or libertarians, people of free market disposition. And this is a big event for entire country. And this is like big country of big impact. So in Venezuela, you have these brave students I mentioned from SFL, Students for Liberty. Students for Liberty in general is growing beautifully in Latin America. And you have Movimiento Libertario, these guys, who are very often risking their lives or risking their... Anybody who is protesting for freedom against socialism in Venezuela is a hero, to be honest. I know these guys. They come to Project Arizona as well, like Jorge Galicia Rodriguez, who was my student a few years ago. The guy needed to escape at some point. He was in hide also at some point, but he was fighting hard for liberty on the streets. These are the heroes of freedom. Even though there is still a lot of problems in Latin America, Marxists still go with open carry, I would say, with red flags and hammer and sickles. In some cases, they win. Horrible situation in Nicaragua, still horrible in Venezuela, very bad in Argentina. But there is a hope for liberty. There is a hope for liberty, and I mentioned these few of these light spots. And you know, if you live in Venezuela, you look at Colombia. Many of Venezuelans go to Colombia and they see freedom gives more opportunity and prosperity. And eventually freedom will also win in Venezuela. And our freedom folks should be ready. The fact that they are organizing Libertarian Alliance, you guys are organizing Libertarian Alliance, that is a sign. Cooperation gives opportunity to exchange best ideas. If folks in Chile do something really good, they have good social medias whatsoever, they can spread this knowledge to their folks in Venezuela or Ecuador or Paraguay, wherever the movement is. And to have this network, to have regular meetings. I hope you guys will not only meet on Zoom or StreamYard. I hope you will meet in person. Hopefully COVID situation allows. It starts with friendships, which are super important, but then it grows to exchanging, best practices. It can lead to projects being done together. And my own case, I'm not a big, manager in freedom movement. Even I think maybe it's mid-scale, but I went to Liberty Camp in Slovakia 14 years ago, 2007, and I watched. This is another project we do, by the way, Liberty Camp. 1 week in a remote place, English language. you know, it can be Spanish, but it's nice if it is English, because you learn also a new language and you practice it and you talk in English about ideas that matter. You talk about, you know, um, sometimes about dilemmas we have, like how to treat intellectual property. Sometimes we talk about great thinkers, Adam Smith, Ayn Rand, Ludwig von Mises, different people. And we do it in English, and we do it in a far location, so nobody is distracted with the city. And I went in 2007 as a student, and I said, this is really awesome. I want to have it in my country, in Poland. And I brought it to Poland because guys in the freedom movement, not only in Latin America, but everywhere, are usually positive, nice, and open-minded. So if you tell them, hey, I want to have something like this in my country, they will not say, forget about it. They will say, okay, let's try to make it happen. It probably needs some fundraising. It probably needs some cooperation, but the skin in the game, the willingness to work hard, to move good projects from place A to place B. If there are dedicated people, good ideas, and willingness, it usually works. And why, if it worked in Europe with liberty camps, why it cannot work in Latin America with political activities or with educational activities? I know that your movement is not just political parties, it's mixture, right? Some educational, some politics, and that's fine. You can have different chapters, you know, Alianza Libertaria Educación, Alianza Libertarian Político, whatever. The different people have different specializations, you know. Some people do better politics and others do better education. There are other people who are better in lobbying, who know how to go to Honduras parliament and lobby to change the constitution to allow these free market zones. Hopefully you have Honduran participants in your movement. I don't know if you have, but if you have, ask them how this was done, because maybe this can be done in Chile as well, or maybe it can be done in Uruguay. Who knows? So exchanging ideas, exchanging best practices, becoming friends, that's so awesome and so important. And as I say, don't limit this to Zoom. I know it's sometimes a hassle to travel, it costs some money, but if you guys meet for a few days and you have a good program, amazing things can pop up out of it. And I wish I meet you guys one day in person. Maybe I can jump to some of these meetings. Liberty International is having another conference next year, actually outside of your continent. It will be in Ukraine, Ukraine in Spanish, in Lviv, a beautiful city. This is actually a city where Ludwig von Mises was born, an important Austrian economist, a great thinker. You know, the Brazilians had these posters, more Mises, less Marx, right? I think Students for Liberty adopted this in many countries. So come to Lviv. I mean, if you can make it, we will have some scholarships available. Let's be in touch. If we are in touch, we can exchange information about, you know, scholarships, conferences. One thing is that you work at the Libertarian Alliance, but another thing is that Libertarian Alliance is in close touch with Liberty International and Atlas Network, other players in this freedom arena, so that we can become better organized, more efficient, and grow this beautiful message of freedom. Because one more thing I wanted to say about Latin America, and maybe I'm not fully informed, I'm sure I am not, but from my little information that I gathered, it seems that on your in South America continent, at least that one, I don't want to claim for Spain or Portugal, but in South America at least, is becoming the big clash, the big battle of ideas. It's collectivism versus liberty. Collectivismo versus libertad. While in our part of the world, it's actually changing into very nasty battle, which is more nationalism versus globalism. And it is not the best arena. Nationalism versus globalism is tricky and it's dirty, because you find elements of freedom as in the globalist camp, definitely, free trade, freedom of association, travel, and so on and so forth. But you find strange elements there as well, like support for large multinational, multi-governmental institutions, United Nations to name one, IMF, others, guys who are not necessarily very freedom-aligned. On the nationalist side, it's usually quite ugly. Guys who believe that a nation state is, the best of what humankind developed, and that autarky works, and that people of different colors are not so good, and that kind of stuff. But sometimes they fight the big multinational organizations from good reasons. So it's a very, very dirty, strange battle. Not easy for us. Not easy for us. It would be so much better if this is collectivism versus freedom, which is actually the truth. This is much better and clearer and accurate situation. And I think in many countries of Latin America, it's actually becoming freedom versus collectivism. And we have so many good arguments to fight this stupid and just wicked ideas of collectivism that brought so much misery, poverty, and that brought so much pain to people. It's about humans. It's about human stories. We don't need to go to books of von Mises. I mean, I love the guy, but it's hard to sell when you go around with human action, believe me. You can go to stories of a real human people and their dignity and their future and their present, and Venezuela of today, for example, and Chile. What was Chile under the socialists, and what was Chile later after Chicago Boys reformed is an example. Argentina, very opposite. This was the fourth or the fifth economy of the world. Now, where is Argentina? What's going on? So socialism happened, right? Peronismo happened. And you guys have fantastic stories. I mean, sad stories sometimes. Fantastic in the sense of you can reach human mind with this. And I think the future is bright. I think there is a great movement for liberty. There's a lot of young people for liberty. In Brazil, I learned this article and the other day on Mises' website, Mises.org, that campuses are very left-leaning. I mean, the academics, but there is a growing opposition of students saying, "Stop telling us this crap." We know that Marxism doesn't work, and the local clubs promoting liberty and everything. What's happening in Brazil maybe doesn't happen so fiercely in Paraguay, maybe not, but examples are important, and especially if you work together in the Alianza Libertaria, you will learn from best examples. I'm sure you will learn from Brazilians, Hondurans, you will learn from people from Medellin, I think. And I'm sure Venezuelans can teach you how to be brave fighters if the government sucks and it's dangerous. So let's do more together. I see some of you at some conferences, maybe in Lviv. We will start promoting this probably next month. There's no yet website, but I can tell you it's in Agosto, 11 until 15th, 2022. That's one thing I wanted to say. Project Arizona, I very, very much recommend to go there, like right now, because it's last 1 week recruitment. 1 week of applications. It's www.projectarizona.us, or maybe without www. Just projectarizona.us. If you are visa holder or citizen of Spain, Portugal, or Chile, these countries don't need visa. Don't hesitate, go to the website, apply, easy application. And we wish to have again, because last year and 2 years ago, we had many actually Latin Americans. We had Ecuadorians, Venezuelans, I mentioned one of them. We had Bolivians. This year, I'm sure one guy from Brazil is coming. but we want more. We want more, actually. So also from Colombia, I'm pretty sure. So projectarizona.us, and guys, I so much keep my fingers crossed for your success. Let's make stand for liberty, and as I said in this short video, libertad para Ibero-America ahora. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you, Jacek. It's very beautiful what you say about our continent, like the hope you can transmit in your words, because sometimes in this side of the world, it's a bit difficult to keep hope alive, you know, because we are used to see so many suffering, so many poverty, and these guys are very intelligent, collectivist people in making us feel hopeless, you know, like they are so powerful, they are so strong, and we have no opportunity to fight against them, but that's not real, you know. And it's very refreshing to see somebody from other country with a very different reality, to see like the bright side in our continent that sometimes people forget. And yes, I agree with you. Here we have a very beautiful fight against collectivism. Every day I feel more proud because so many people is fighting, so many people is joining, so many people is understanding like why our country can't reach like a better style of life, and they understand that it's because failed system. And yeah, I totally agree with you, and thank you for sharing the opportunities you and your organization are given to this side of the world, because yeah, it's difficult for some people maybe get an education, a proper education, education in freedom, because education in this side of the world, well, I am pretty sure it's not just in this side of the world, but it is made to keep people thinking in wrong ideas, to keep people believing in wrong ideas, in failed ideas. So this opportunity you are giving to these young people is, I think, is an opportunity to make things different, you know. So well, Jacek, it was a pleasure to meet you. It was a pleasure having you with us. Was a great introduction to this conference, and I hope I look forward to meet you in person. And well, we are here in Chile, and every time you want to come, we are here for you.
Wonderful. Muchas gracias, Sara. Once again, it was a pleasure to talk to you. One little more information. As I mentioned at the beginning, this meeting would not happen if I don't meet Omar in Medellin. I met him because he came as a scholar. We had a fantastic conference, and I want to say once again a big thank you to Maria Alejandra Londoño of Movimiento Libertario Colombia, because she put together this conference. And I want to encourage everyone to watch the video. It's a short 10-minute clip. I sent it to Daniel Diaz. He has the link. So hopefully you guys can see the conference video, because it can give you a hint of what we do at Liberty International and what can happen in the future, hopefully. I also hope to meet Sara and others, Daniel, Yomar again, and let's fight for freedom together. Thank you, guys. I will need to leave right now, but I hope to remain in touch and have a wonderful conference. Start this alliance strong, and remember about keeping in touch with us. Cheers. Hasta luego.